Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between VVV's SeoHyeon versus Acer's Nerchio here on Cloud Kingdom. SeoHyeon spawning on the bottom left hand side of the map as the blue Terran player. Meanwhile on the top right hand side of the map we do have Acer's Nerchio spawning as the red Zerg. Zerg versus Terran, we'll see what's going to go down in this matchup as Zerg versus Terran has really been pretty stale lately. Actually, I won't use the word stale. I'll say a little bit predictable in terms of opening strategies. In terms of the game now, a lot of Terrans have been opening up with those reactor Hellions early on in the game. Most likely we will see a supply depot being placed down here, followed either by a barracks and another supply depot, or SeoHyeon could be trying to go for a gasless expansion and build a command center over here or over here, then lift it off and land it. Those are the common two openings that I have recently been seeing from Terran. Normally, the gaseous expansion is more of a way to deal with Protoss and not as much of a way to deal with Zerg, as Zerg have been able to Baneling bust even well-fortified bunker positions. Now, let's take a look at the strategy and what these players will actually be going for. It looks as though SeoHyeon is not building up a barracks. No, building up a barracks off over here. So SeoHyeon deciding not to play by the book at all, and this is going to force Nerchio to perhaps play a little bit more defensively or perhaps even play a little bit more aggressively. You're going to see that the hatchery is already down, so Nerchio will be forced to play a little bit more defensively. He sees that there is no barracks on the inside of this base, and with no barracks on the inside of this base, he really has to wonder what is happening and what is going on. His opponent could either be going for a fast command center, or his opponent could have some sort of hidden proxy barracks somewhere on the map. Nerchio now perhaps looking for that barracks. Didn't look off over here, surprisingly enough. And now that drone is still... Oh, a little bit of trash talk already coming in from Nerchio saying, I can do a little bit of coaching for you. So we'll see whether or not VVV's SeoHyeon will actually be able to win this game or not. So far, so... Barracks now currently looking for perhaps an overlord that would be making its way into the position over here. You can see that there is an overlord here, and Nerchio is going to end up losing this overlord. That is going to hurt tremendously, as every... Oh, no, the Marine is not going to... Is he going to spot the Overlord? No, he does not. So by not spotting the Overlord, the Marine is going to make his way off. No, he does spot it now. He is going to try to shoot it down, and that is going to be huge. Nerchio going to lose a very, very early Overlord, as we now see a spawning pool coming into play. We should be getting up some early Zerglings now, though. Nerchio down to 119 hit points. Will it fall is the key question. Already down to 90 hit points. 84 trying to do that stutter step micro all the way over there. It looks like it will catch up as a Marine does get a friend joining in, and now Nerchio upside down on food, 24 over 20, and that will hurt. Command center is being built on the front door here. We are now going into a double gas, so SeoHyeon not playing this by the book at all. Nerchio now perhaps a little bit frustrated that he did lose that early Overlord. Perhaps wasn't expecting a Marine based upon the timing, and now that SCV is perhaps going to try to set up a bunker. No, the SCV just going to do a little bit of scouting instead. We are getting some gas now, so spawning pool is going to be coming into play. Metabolic boost could be coming in just a second. SCV taking a lot of damage. SeoHyeon going to lose this SCV very needlessly, and could have pulled away with that. Not quite sure what was happening here, as now 4 Marines perhaps going to try to take down a Queen. The Marines now doing a little bit of that stutter step against the Zerglings. The Zerglings now taking a lot of damage, and now the Queen trying to come back over. We now have 5 Marines. Here we go once more. The Marines and the Zerglings both sides battling it out. The Marines are relatively low on hit points, but that Queen cannot stick around for very much longer, as more and more Zerglings are being hatched. One Spine Crawler looks like it will get cancelled in time and being rebuilt, as the Queen now tries to come back in. The Queen now coming back over. A new Queen coming in, and then now this is going to be a bad situation. SeoHyeon perhaps overstaying his welcome, no longer having the advantage, as a lot of Zerglings do swarm in. So Nerchio now coming in with the 36 over 36 food advantage. SeoHyeon sitting at 24 over 36. Harvester count is now 30 drones compared to 23, so very, very heavy drone count. And things are not looking good for SeoHyeon. It looks like a third command center will also be placed down, though. So it looks like triple training of SCVs, and we'll see how that is all going to work out, as SeoHyeon maybe perhaps trying to go into Blue Flame Hellions perhaps. The timing on that does look about right. He is adding on a Tech Lab off over here. There is one Zergling here, and an SCV is now repairing that supply depot. It does spot the reactor, and the Hellions will be popping out in just a moment. We can see that there is double refineries being placed down, and perhaps we can even be getting up and the Tech Lab for Banshees. This command center is about 40% done. There is the liftoff and the land. Zergling is going to fall there very, very easily. We should be getting that Blue Flame Tech, and then perhaps adding in a starport as well, as that would make the most amount of sense. Yes, it is going to be triple training of Hellions off of 2 factories, getting Blue Flame Tech, and now SCVs are making their way down. Nerchio already establishing up his 3rd base, just as SeoHyeon is establishing up his 2nd. SCV count versus drone 46 to 31. Nerchio definitely in the lead now, as the Zerglings are going to get toasted. The problem is going to be whether or not roaches will make their way onto the field and then stop these Hellions before they can really get going. Blue Flame Tech still has quite a ways to go. More Hellions now being added, and we'll see if SeoHyeon continues to add to these numbers. Spine Crawler on the front door, 5 roaches, still no starport surprisingly, as we are now going into Marines with Stim. We should perhaps be going into Siege Tanks, as we still are sitting on a large amount of gas for Terran. 350 gas, not a good way to spend your resources, as now Zerglings are going to try to perhaps do a quick run by, no, finding some Hellions there, and now being forced to retreat once more. Now, we do have some roaches over here. Nerchio is not, nope, he is not transferring any drones. He knows that the position is rather weak, and right now perhaps only transferring a handful of drones, 5 or 6 drones, but gonna saturate it from units at that location there. Zergling gonna get taken down, and now Blue Flame Tech has been completed. No armory though, so it is still gonna take 2 or 3 shots to take down a drone. And now here we go, a swarm of Hellions now making their way inside here. Spine Crawler was uprooted, and now all of these drones are in trouble. Here we go, Blue Flame Tech just coming on in time. More and more roaches are coming over to reinforce, as the Hellions now try to bust their way up that ramp. They are getting stuck, but they are going to be able to take down a multiple number of drones still, if they are able to actually focus. And no, SeoHyeon losing a lot of the roaches very, very poorly, or a lot of his Hellions poorly to roaches. And that queen sitting on that ramp was beautifully placed, and now things could have been much, much worse. Wow. Overseer inside the base. We are still getting up some siege tanks and siege tech now, transferring around. So this is going to turn into your standard marine tank. But I believe the roaches are just going to be knocking on this front door spine. There are no bunkers, no marauders. The roaches are going to be able to just barrel their way through this positioning here. No, the roaches deciding to open up the door a little bit more, as we already see an orbital command has been completed off over here. One SCV not going to make it away. The roaches, nope, do not have that movement speed upgrade just quite yet, so it looks like the roaches won't be able to catch up. Siege tanks now nearing completion on siege tech. The Marines do not have stim. If Nerchio had just tried to push his way through that front door, he would have done terrible, terrible damage, perhaps even taking down or forcing a lift off of this orbital command off over here. Overlords are hiding here. There are some drones here. The drones are ripe for the torching, and if SeoHyeon can get back into this game, perhaps torch even more drones, he may be able to get back into this. But Nerchio should be able to respond to this rather quickly. 1, 2 drones already down. Perhaps some more drones. Yes, another round of drones are getting destroyed here, and drones need to get taken down. More drones getting destroyed, as nicely played by Nerchio. Nerchio making sure to train up units, as Hellions do take down larvae rather quickly. One Hellion does get taken down. More roaches coming in from the far side, as with the worker count up to 17. Let's take a look at the losses though. Terran of SeoHyeon still losing much, much more. Orbital command now attempting to land. We are going into more reactors being placed down. Starport now needs to double train up some medevacs, as an armory will be added. It is soon going to be 5 bases for Nerchio. So Nerchio just in a dominant position. He will be running on 5 bases to SeoHyeon's only 3, and this is not looking good. Mule's currently just mining away, trying to get back into the game. 47 SCVs, 83 drones. This is looking really bad, as SeoHyeon is trying to wall off this location here and make sure that everything funnels in from this side instead. It looks as though roaches are going to be doing a bit of a push. Supply depots are going to be placed down only to have them destroyed before they're completed. Marines and Marauders now making their way in, getting in some easy kills there on those roaches. The roaches are backing off, but this attack force is rather small, and without concussive shell, the Marauders have not been able to really deal that much damage, wasn't able to slow down those roaches. Perhaps if there was concussive shells, a lot more damage, and Nerchio would be forced to re-macro instead of just trying to train up a stronger economy. We are going into a 4th base now. Nerchio running out with Infestors, and Zergling's gonna come up on perhaps in this location here. The problem is that there are a lot of siege tanks, and they are pretty deep. Infestors are coming in, and this is going to be looking really, really bad as Nerchio apparently not quite sure what he's commenting on in so far, as we now see one burrowed Infestor making its way through. This is going to be really, really interesting. Here we go, infested Terrans already now spawning. This is looking really bad as the siege tanks now focusing down many of the Zerglings. The infested Terrans are off over here, and we'll see whether or not some SCVs are able to repair those siege tanks. A scanner sweep does not reveal the Infestor here, as those units are trying to back off once more. I guess there was a little bit of lag during the game. That is the reason why Nerchio was a little curious. We are now going into Corruptors and Broodlords, and with Corruptors and Broodlords, this is going to be a completely different story. No Vikings in the air whatsoever. Still one Infestor down over here. Infestors are just holding the line, holding the position, as we are now training up a lot more Zerglings. Now, oh, beautifully done. One Infestor taking down 2 siege tanks there, and with the help of splash damage. And now we're going to see what is going to be happening on the main front door. There is one Marine off over here. Those supply depots are not going to be able to hold off very much of anything, as the Zerglings are now trying to push their way in. Zerglings going to be able to take down multiple supply depots here. Nerchio is in trouble. The Zerglings, the Marines, and the Marauders are trying to fight back here. More infested Terrans are coming back over. One supply depot does go down, but the units are all backing off. Now, we are getting a completion on that Greater Spire. It looks as though, yes, Nerchio is in dominant control. He is going to be able to just simply swarm in with Broodlords, and with no Vikings in play at all, this tech switch is going to completely catch SeoHyeon off guard. 198 food versus 164, 10 Broodlords now being trained. Starport is up and operational, but not training up any Vikings. That is always a very, very bad day indeed, as we now see 5 bases to what will eventually be 4, but there is a burrowed roach there, which is going to stop it. Siege tanks, it looks like some roaches and infestors are trying to make their way up. 3 Marines quickly getting taken down. I thought I saw a drop. Yeah, drop is now coming in on the top left-hand side, most likely. There is also a roach off over here. Nerchio just in dominant control. And I believe the GG will be coming in momentarily as soon as we see these Broodlords. 10 Broodlords coming in. Broodlings very, very strong at this stage in the game. 2 upgraded Broodlings completely destroying all of these siege tanks. Marines, a fungal growth even being added for good measure. The Broodlords now down to 6 in number, but that is 6 more Broodlords than SeoHyeon can really handle right now. 60 more Zerglings being added, so getting just completely re-macroed back up to almost 200 food. Marines and Marauders now doing a little bit of a base trade, and perhaps if he can hold this off, Vikings are being added, and the Marines and the Marauders need to really focus down drones. Zerglings are coming back around. The siege tanks are off over here, but the siege tanks are not going to get healed up by any of these medevacs. The siege tanks will all get lost off over here. The Marines and the Marauders trying to fight back as well. Going to perhaps take down multiple hatcheries and even a queen, but the main Broodlord army is still charging its way into this fight. Back over here, are there any Vikings? There should be Vikings in play. 2 Vikings, but where are they on the field? I don't see them. No, the Vikings are going up against Corruptors instead of going up against the Broodlord. So a little bit of a misplay there, as the Marines are upgraded 2-2, but it doesn't look like they will be able to stop all of these Broodlords. 3 Broodlords against a whole bunch of Marauders and siege tanks. That is never a good fight. Marines finally showing up to the fight, but things are going to go from bad to worse to a GG in just a moment. I do not believe SeoHyeon can by any means make his way back into this game. So Nerchio gonna take game 1 in this series, and just a matter of time. There it is. There's the GG. There's the well played, as Nerchio takes game 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.